everybody. This week on Ask Kristen, I'm talking about dipping the old pen in the company ink. This week's Ask Kristen question is coming from Stuff Mom Never Told You fan Caitlin's email, and she wants to know a lot. I'd be really excited if you did a video about relationships in the workplace. And if you're wondering whether Caitlin has a very vested interest, Caitlin really wants to date her boss. She goes on to say, I'm really into him, and so I'd love to see examples of people meeting at their jobs, and especially if one person was working a more authoritative position and things turning out well. It's understandable, Caitlin, that you would be attracted to your boss, that these feelings arise, because our feelings arise at work all of the time. There was a Business Insider survey, in fact, that came out a couple years ago. I think it was 54% of respondents said that they had had sex at some point with a coworker. And according to a Career Builder survey, there is a lot of genuine, lasting love that blossoms around the water cooler as well. 1 in 5 of their survey respondents started dating in the office and then ended up getting married. Ooh, Caitlin, I know you're excited about me possibly making this video, but I think I'm gonna disappoint you when I tell you I think it's a terrible idea to date your boss. Any kind of advice that you read, whether it is more professionally geared or personally geared, you're probably gonna hear the same thing, that it's not a very good idea. A, because of legalities and company policies, unless you're working in a really small company. And B, because of the inherent power imbalance that the relationship would be established upon. That just leaves open a lot of room for potential pressure or coercion to happen. Not to mention that if, and let's be honest, when things go south, if your boss is also your ex, I would assume that unless you two are just very mature, chill people, make it get a little tense. And you, as the subordinate, have less power in that situation. Studies also find that in these kind of office romance contexts, women bear the brunt of all of the negative gossip. They tend to attract more assumptions of using sex and romance to get ahead, to get more power, to get favoritism, to get promotions, whatever it is.
How in the devil can I keep these rumors from getting started?
Regardless of your gender, if you're a subordinate dating your boss, whatever successes you might achieve are going to be negatively judged. People will assume that it has to do with conflicts of interest, favoritism, and then on top of that, you get the double penalty of the sexist assumptions that women in the workplace are only able to sleep their way to the top rather than accomplishing things on their own two stilettos. Am I right, ladies? And it's also worth mentioning the issue of sexual harassment. When a superior is dating a subordinate, there are generally concerns about it being a consensual relationship because that boss could be using his or her authority to be a little bit more coercive in his or her advances.
Get some dinner and maybe some sweet dessert, and I'll explain an easier way to get these reports done.
The term sexual harassment didn't even exist before 1975. These policies that have been put in place to help protect us and actually help us, especially as women, get ahead were hard won, and I think that it's worth considering just sort of the broader ramifications of this kind of thing. And if I was in Caitlin's position and I had genuine feelings for my boss had genuine feelings for me, and we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? I would bounce that ball into the boss's court. I want you to consider all of the risks and come up with a business plan for this relationship. And that business plan might involve signing something called a Cupid contract that some companies enforce, where you sign a legal document saying, listen, this is a consensual relationship. Or that might involve one of you getting a new job, getting a new position, getting as far away from each other on the company ladder as possible. Now that I've Debbie Downered that enough, I'm curious to hear from you listeners. Do you think it's ever acceptable to date a boss? Have you ever dated a boss? Or are you a boss who has dated a subordinate? Let me know all the juicy details in the comments below. And thanks as always to everybody who watched and commented on last week's Ask Kristen video, Sad After Sex. Erin commented, for me, it's often a feeling of regret after sex, like I didn't deserve to just have sex and it feel good, and that be all there is to it. I think this stems from my intense desire to have a relationship, and having sex outside of one isn't okay for me to do. Jerry said, I used to have this feeling strong after masturbating as a kid and teen, but much less as an adult. I guess I'm just getting over the cultural slut/kink shaming which surrounds us and hammers into our brain that women who enjoy sexual stuff are bad, impure, etc. In my opinion, this is one of the main reasons for many women, same as internalized fat phobia and others, which often stop us from loving and enjoying ourselves because the society insists we shouldn't unless we fit certain standards. Whether you're curious about post-coital blues, dating your boss, or anything that comes to your mind, be sure to ask me your questions so I can give you some answers.